Yo, what up guys, it's your boy Legendary here, and today people, we're going to be doing a fusion of Yuto Shun's deck. As you guys know, in one of the previous Duelist packs a while back, they got some support that helped synergize both their decks together, so that was really cool. So right now I'm going to be doing a fusion of both their decks, just like I did. I think I did like Hell Kaiser and Jack or something like that. Hell Kaiser and Kaito. I don't remember what I did, but I know I did some fusion decks in a while back. So this is another fusion deck. But anyway, we're gonna hop into it. I'm not gonna explain any of the new cards and what they do. You already know what they do because I already explained it in those deck profiles. So I'm not gonna explain it. So I'm just gonna go through every card one by one and just kind of explain my picks as to why I pick certain cards, and that's it. But that's pretty much it. So we're gonna just hop into it. We're gonna start off with the Phantom Knights. So we're gonna just literally add exactly one copy of each Phantom Knight, and that's pretty much it, including the new ones obviously. So just one copy of each, because they pretty much work for themselves. They banish themselves to search out the other ones and to search out the spells and traps. So I don't feel like it's necessary to have multiple of them, and I have to make rooms for the Raidraptors too. And Shun has a lot of copies of his Raidraptor monsters as well. So there's just a lot of there's not enough space for everything. So one of each is fine, and like I said, they work for themselves. So it doesn't really, you don't need multiples in my opinion, for this build at least. So one of each of those. Next, we're going to be doing the Raidraptors. Alright, so for the Raidraptors, we're going to do 3 copies of Vanishing Lanius because he's one of the simplest ones. He just special summons a level 4 lower Raidraptor from your hand, and that's it. There's no once per turn clause, and there's no level restriction except for level 4 lower, which all of them are except for one of them, the level 6, and that's pretty much it. But he's the easiest one. You summon one, you summon another, and then you summon the third one, and he can special summon any Raidraptor monster, and there's no name restriction or anything either. So that's why I added three of him, because he's the main one and he is the less restrictive one. So we're going to have one copy of Singing Lanius right here because it special summons itself from your hand when you control a face-up Xyz monster. And so it works with the Phantom Knights too because it's not restricted to Raidraptor Xyz. So you could just summon it when you have an Xyz monster on the field. So that's good. So I'm picking the cards that have the least amount of restrictions on them. So that way the decks can work well together without any like weird restrictions. So that's why I'm picking certain monsters the way that I am. Then we are going to be doing 2 copies of Fuzzy Lanius. If you control a Raidraptor monster other than this card, special summon this card from your hand. So very easy to summon. You don't have to control a specific type of Raidraptor or whatever. He just summons himself when you control a Raidraptor, and this works with the new Raidraptor. This works with this card right here, Raidraptor Strangle Lanius as well. That's the new one that we're going to add as well. But it also works with Raider's Wing as well, right? Yeah, Raider's Wing, sorry. 2 copies of Fuzzy Lanius. Then we're going to be doing 1 copy of Mimicry here. I didn't want to add Tribute Lanius. This is going to be in the side deck. I didn't want to add that, and I didn't want to add Sharp Lanius either because their effects are very slow. Like this deck, I wanted it to be very fast, very, Xyz summon right away in this, and they have a lot of effects that activate during the main phase too after they battled or they're destroyed or whatever. So it's a little too slow in my opinion, but Mimicry is good because he comes out on the field and gives an extra level to all the Raidraptor monsters on the field, and his second effect works during the main phase, not just the main phase too. So it's less restrictive and you can like do something right away. So that's why I added Mimicry instead of the other ones. So just 1 copy of Mimicry, and then we have Strangle Lanius in there as well, a very easy generic Raidraptor monster. And then we have 1 copy of Raider's Wing. So yeah, there's Raider's Wing right there. Very powerful, very good. I won't explain the effect because you guys should already know. Alright, so we're going to be hopping into the trap cards. So between Yuto and Shun, they both have tons of trap cards. It's crazy. They both have tons, especially Yuto, but they both have pretty good amount of trap cards. So we're going to hop into that. We're going to start with the Phantom Knights as well. We're going to have 2 copies of Phantom Knights Lost Vambrace, just because the only way you're going to go into the rank 2 is to have these trap cards here. So 2 Lost Vambrace and 2 Magnet Rings. They also have really good defensive effects that can help you stall and weaken monsters and protect your Phantom Knights monsters from being destroyed by battle. Unfortunately, they don't have super generic effects, but Wrong Magnet Ring does have an effect that's a little bit more generic. Like, it doesn't work on specifically just Phantom Knights monsters. So that's why I added that in there. Trying to be as less restrictive as possible. We're going to keep moving forward. Then we have the Phantom Knight's Fogblade, because it's a generic, really powerful negate trap card. We got the Phantom Knight's Sword and the Phantom Knight's Wing, because they just work on any face-up monster on the field. So you can add both of those, because there's no type restriction, no level restriction, no anything restriction. You just summon it. Its second effect obviously only works with Phantom Knights, but that's fine. But its first effect works for any monster, so it's generic, so they belong in there. Alright, so we're going to get into some Raidraptor cards now. We're going to get into... We got one copy of Raidraptor's Readiness. We got Unbreakable Mind. Right here, the new support card, very powerful. This works perfectly in both decks. Obviously, it was made to help synergize with both decks. We got Raptor's Gust right here. A powerful negate trap card. You'll probably have both a Phantom Knights and a Raidraptor's Xyz on the field during most situations, just because of how the deck works. So it should be good. It should be very powerful. We have the counter trap Raidraptor's Phantom Knight's Claw. So this card is a card that negates anything, so it works with both decks, but it specifically powers up a Raidraptor Xyz monster only. So that's the one flaw with this card. I don't know why it couldn't also work on Phantom Knights as well, since it's supposed to be combining the two together. But yeah, it only powers up a Raidraptor, so keep that in mind. But you're most likely going to have a Raidraptor on the field anyway, to be honest. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect anything. We're going to get into spell cards now. Alright, we're going to get into the Phantom Knight Spear. One copy of that. We got Rank Up Magic Launch, because it works with any Dark Xyz monster, not just Phantom Knight, so it's a very generic. And the same goes for the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force, also works generically and includes the Phantom Knight's Raidraptor and Xyz Dragon in the effect as well. So it's a perfect rank up card that was made to work with both their decks, so it's great. So we're going to add Foolish Burial and Foolish Burial of Goods, because they'll help you set up your Phantom Knights and your Phantom Knights spell and trap cards as well, your monsters, spells, and traps and whatnot. So I'll help you set all that up, and there are some I think Raidraptors that might work in the graveyard as well, but whatever, this helps you set up, so you definitely need both of those in there. Alright, then we have Monster Reborn. We'll add one copy of that to help resurrect stuff. We have Reinforcement of the Army to help you search out your Phantom Knights. We have Emergency Provisions to help get rid of some of your back row that is just stuck there that you can't do anything with, and then also gain a bunch of life points for stalling purposes. We got Raidraptor's Nest. Yeah, Raidraptor's Nest. If you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add one Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So you're most likely going to control 2, even if it's not an Xyz, that's fine. And then you get to search or resurrect the Raidraptor from your graveyard, which is just great. So very good stuff. And then we're going to have the Rank Up Fest right now, because you know how Shun does. He just has a bunch of his own Rank Up Magics right here. We got Rank Up Magic Raid Force. We got one copy of that. We got one copy of Revolution Force. Obviously, these cards will only specifically work on Raidraptor monsters, so keep that in mind. But it is what it is. We got to do what we got to do. They're not all going to synergize well together, obviously, but we're trying the very best to make them work together. We got Soul Shave Force as well, and then we have Double Doom Force. Yeah, Double Doom Force. And that's it for the main deck right there. For the side deck, you could add whatever you want to the side deck in terms of rank ups. It was very hard to choose which ones are most important, so if you want to swap some of the rank ups for Shun out for some different ones, that's fine. Don't ask me why I chose those. I had my reasons when I built this deck a while ago. I had my reasons. I don't remember what they were, but I chose them for specific reasons that I don't remember. So if you think some of the other ones would be better, just feel free and add it. You don't have to ask me. You don't have to tell me. Just add it. You know, this is your deck too. You can build it how you want. This is just how I built, and that's pretty much it. All right, so we're going to move forward with the extra deck. It's pretty hefty. We got Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon, obviously. We also have Dark Requiem, Xyz Dragon, and then we have Arc Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. Very powerful. Oh, that card is broken. And then we also have Raider's Knight. And then we're going to get into the Phantom Knights cards. We're going to add one copy of Breaksword, obviously. And we're going to add Cursed Javelin in there as well. Then we're going to get into the Raidraptors. So we're going to have, obviously, one Rise Falcon. You can't run it without Rise Falcon. We got 4 Strix in there. I believe I added an extra 4 Strix. There's only 15 cards in here, so there's only so much you can do. Obviously, in the anime, there's no restriction to how many extra deck monsters you can have, but here there is a restriction, so I only added 1 4 Strix. If you don't want to run it that way, I understand. I wanted to build it this way because I want to use the other rank ups of his Raidraptors for me personally, so that's why I only added 1, even though I know the optimal way is to do 3 because he searches out all the Raidraptors. But I only chose 1 for this one, so don't crucify me, guys. All right, relax. If you want to add 3, by all means, add 3. I have no issues with that. Just do what you gotta do. But I want to use some of his other rank up cards more. I don't want to take up all the slots with just 4 Strix. You know what I'm saying? So we got 1 4 Strix right there. Then we got Rise Falcon. All right, then we got Blaze Falcon, and then we have Revolution Falcon as well. Yeah, Revolution Falcon right there. Then we have Stranger Falcon, so I added that in there as well. Obviously, we have Satellite, and we have Ultimate Falcon, and then we have Final Fortress Falcon as well. Okay, so it turns out we only have 14 here, so you have an extra room. By the way, this card right here, Blade Burner, that's from the manga, so you can't add that because this is anime only. I mean, if you want to add it for fun, you can. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but for me, I'm not going to use it because it's a manga-specific card. I will add Raidraptor Arsenal Falcon in here. This wasn't used in the manga. This was just a support card that came out a while ago for his deck. So I just added that in there. So we got Arsenal Falcon right there. And that's pretty much it for the extra deck. We're going to quickly get into the side deck now. Alright, so for the Raidraptors here, we got 2 copies of Heal Eagle, which is the level 3. So if you want to go for your rank 3 play, I think that's what it was the rank 3 Raidraptor monster. That does exist over here. If you want to use Fiend Eagle, you could add that in your side deck, but then you'll have to tech in the 2 Heal Eagles because those are your only level 3s that you got in there. So you could do that if you want. Then we have 1 extra copy of Singing Lanius, 1 extra copy, not an extra copy, 1 copy of Rudder Strix, and the 1 copy of Tribute Lanius. I already explained my reasons why. I would consider adding this into the deck because it searches a quick play rank up magic, but it's so slow because it activates during main phase 2, so I didn't want to main deck it, but if you want to main deck it, you can. We have 1 copy of Necro Vulture right here. We have 1 copy of Booster Strix over here. I basically just added the level 4s just to make it simple because you want to Xyz and you got to start, from Rise Falcon and work your way up, or from 4 Strix and work your way up. So I just focused on the level 4s mainly. So I didn't add any of the other weird level 1/1s and stuff like that because I want it to be Xyz focused. Rank 4 Xyz focused, so you grind your way up. Alright, then we got some spell cards. Then we have Raidraptor Call. I didn't add this in the main deck because it does have a restriction. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this card except Raidraptors. So I didn't want to add it in there because then I would be limited to just Raidraptors, and I want to be able to use both archetypes perfectly well without any restrictions from the other archetype. So that's why I picked the cards I did, so that they synergize together and nothing's blocking the other one. Then I have Rank Up Magic Skip Force right here that I put in the side deck. We got 2 copies of Shadow Veil right here for some defense, some power boost. And then for some Xyz monsters, we already added Fiend Eagle in there, so that's fine. And then you can add this card, Revolution Falcon Air Raid. Its attack name, Arsenal Falcon, was in the side deck, but I added it in the main deck because there was an extra slot, so that's perfect. And then we have our 2 copies of Raidraptor's 4 Strix. So there you go. You can tech that in if you want. And that's pretty much the deck right there. I haven't tested the deck out, but I can already tell it looks fun and good. It's not always going to work perfectly well together because, once again, they are 2 separate archetypes. But the new support does help make them work together. And I picked all the right Raidraptor monsters that don't have any restrictions on them and don't prevent you from summoning Phantom Knight monsters, and they work for themselves, and then the Phantom Knights work for themselves, and they do their own thing, and they can work together without getting in each other's way, and it's powerful and it's good. And what makes this deck work perfectly is Raider's Wing, because it's any 2 level 4 darks, it's treated as both archetypes, and it could rank up or rank down into any Raidraptor monster or Phantom Knights monster or Xyz Dragon monster. So that's it. But that's the deck for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Download the deck below in the link in the description and try it out. Let me know how it goes. Try it against your friends. There's no anime cards in here too, so that's fantastic for you guys there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you guys. See you guys in the next video. Gotcha.